Now that we've covered exactly what period closing is, let's talk about why period closing matters. Period closing helps to protect financial accuracy, prevents accidental changes, ensures that you have sound reconciliation, and allows us to produce reliable reports. Last but definitely not least, all of this together creates audit-ready financial records. The kinds of activities that are happening on a daily basis that are supported by a period closing process are things like posting charges, posting payments, both patient and insurance, processing refunds, entering adjustments, correcting any errors, managing and maintaining escrow, and reconciling any deposits that were made. All of these activities ultimately impact the practice or organization's records and financial reporting. In order to support these financial records, it's recommended that we close periodically. Those periods can include daily, weekly, monthly, maybe even quarterly, and especially annually, making sure that you have an opportunity to review, reconcile, and ensure all of the information that was expected to be entered has been completed and properly reconciled. Closing the periods will look like making sure that all of the charges that were expected to be entered are completed, meaning the patients that were checked out have proper charges entered in for those encounters. Any payments that were collected over the front desk, those were reconciled and balanced against what is appearing in the software, and making sure that any insurance payments or refunds or adjustments that were expected have been entered in on a daily basis. We would want to review the same in both weekly and monthly reconciliation, making sure that all of the patient's charges that were expected to be entered have been correctly entered, and any payments that were collected over the front desk have in fact appear at the front desk. Things like making sure that our insurance payments have been processed fully and applied to the proper patient's accounts, making sure that adjustments have been applied, and then going ahead and saying everything looks great for these periods and closing those periods out. When we are considering these periods for closing, we're looking for similar or the same kind of information. Things like, are the charges completed? Did we make sure all of the payments that the patient made over the front desk were showing up properly in the software? Did we make sure that those checks, if we took checks at the front, were processed, and did they clear the bank? Did we ensure that any insurance payments have been posted into those patients' accounts? Proper adjustments that we expected to have been applied to those patients' accounts, did those take place? So we're making sure anything that impacts the patient's financial records are correctly input and accurately reflecting on our reports. Then when we have confirmed all of this, we've made sure that all that we expected to be entered into the software is appearing properly on our reports. When we do this for any period, then we can consider those periods complete by formally closing that period within the software, which means we're going to pull reports in that area of the period close in the software and make sure those reports reflect accurately to what we expected for that period, and we will consider that period closed, which means it closes those books, creates a kind of a seal on those books, and says that only certain individuals are able to reopen those periods. So the book is now closed. That book of business for that particular period is closed, and we will only allow certain users to be able to open those books to do things like edit, make changes, or corrections to that period. If we're doing the close properly, then we should not have to make any of those changes. We are looking to our period close process to support our reporting so that at the end of whatever period, whether it's a weekly or a monthly, quarterly or annually, we can trust the data that appears on our reports, which can inform and support any business decisions that we are needing to make within our practice or organization. So now that we've talked about why period closing, let's take a look in the software and get a sense of what it looks like to close a period within this software.